How's it going, YouTube? This is Skull, and welcome to episode 47 of Zootopia Home Video. Starting today, I am going to be going through what I currently have of my Canadian subset. And you might think at first glance, your first thought was probably, Skull, didn't Canada get basically the exact same thing that you got in the United States? And yes and no. A lot of Canada did get this exact same release that we got here in the United States. In fact, if you were to look at the bottom of the package, you will see that it actually has the Canadian stuff, including a release in Quebec, which has its own film registry for whatever reason. Anyway, yes, Canada did get this. But they also got this. And this is what I'm going to be talking about today and in the next few videos. This is Zootopia. Versions français et anglais. That's right, it's French. I just got done talking about the French copies of the film, right? Well, I just got done talking about the French copies of the film. This is the Canadian French copy. What's the difference? Well, it turns out quite a lot. The comment section of my French videos were actually very enlightening on why there are two different dubs of the film. And it turns out it's because neither France nor Quebec can decide which of them is more French. Think about that for a second. Anyway, the French copy of Zootopia is called Zootopia, and even now, I still don't know why, but the Canadian copy is still called Zootopia, just the same as here in the United States. And this is a completely different dub of the film than the French version. This is Canadian French. There are some differences. It's kind of like, I guess, the difference between Mexican Spanish and Spain Spanish. Kinda. I'm very unclear on it. I don't speak French, and I don't pretend to try. So whatever it is, in Canada, with this, and as I understand most films, they decided to do a completely different version of the film dubbed into French and sell it there. So the main reason why we have this is because the official language of Quebec, specifically the province Quebec, is French. In fact, very few people there actually speak English as a first language. Quite a few of them don't speak English at all. So for that province specifically, that is why this exists. Most of the rest of the country still got this exact same version that we got here in the United States. That's why all of the Canadian ratings and stuff are down there at the bottom, is because it was still sold in Canada. It's just that a lot of Canada also got this version with French on the cover. And for this particular release, for most of the French Canadian stuff, French is actually the main version. If I were to go to the back here, whoever Sylvia is, hi. If you go to the back here and look at the summary, you'll see that the top is actually in French and the bottom in English, which means that they expect for you to read the French first. Because Quebec. I'm not going to go into all of that right now. This is actually my second time recording this video because I realized I rambled for too long about how it's so weird to me. But the fact is, it's not weird to them. This is just usual for them. For most of their home media, for most, even video games now, they just have French and English on the cover. So it's just how it is up there. And again, most of Canada also got this. But this is what we consider to be the Canadian version of Zootopia. So let's actually go ahead and look at it now. So the front is pretty much one-to-one identical to the US copy, except that it has that little blurb there saying in both French and English. The spines are pretty much identical, except it has that blurb there as well, where the American version does not. It's even smaller there. You have to squint to see it. The catalog number is actually the same, except the French-Canadian version has a /02 on it as well. So it's like, yeah, it's the same, but the second version of the package. And of course, I just showed off the back. The back is identical as well, except that it has text in French first and then English. The languages on it are identical. In fact, I should probably just show this off right now. The disc itself is identical. you will notice there's no French anything on there. It looks one-to-one identical to the US version because the disc itself is identical. I wouldn't be surprised if these came from the same factory. They were in the same assembly line, and it's just one got put in a standard English case and one got put into a French-Canadian case. But the disc, every single thing about it is identical. The label is the same, the data on it is the same ones and zeros, they line up perfectly. So yeah, the only difference between the US and Canadian version is the case itself. That's it. And that is what the norm is for, as far as I can tell, every single Canadian release of Zootopia. Everything, every single one of them is identical to the US releases, except the packaging includes French. That's pretty much all I have to say about it. I should mention that since it is the same as the US release, that means that the languages on there are English, French, and Spanish. My player defaults to English. I assume that's because I've got an English player. I assume if you live in Quebec and you got a French player, it'll default to French. But regardless, those 3 language options are on the disc if you want to manually change it. So if you're in Quebec and you want to listen to the film in Spanish, there you go. You can. Well, that'll bring this video to an end. That's the Canadian French DVD copy of Zootopia, not to be confused with the France French DVD copy of Zootopia. At some point, this gets very confusing, and I stop trying to figure it out. Anyway, I would love to hear from any Canadian viewers who might be watching this. Is this anything special to you guys, or is this just another Wednesday? Or maybe this is the copy that you guys got more of, and seeing this, even for the non-Quebec Canadians, is actually a super interesting thing. I'd love to hear from you guys. Please let me know. Oh, one last thing. This is only Region 1. It will not work outside of North American DVD players. Forgot to mention that. Well, anyway, that'll bring this video to an end. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Please leave a comment down below on if there's another version of Zootopia, in whatever language, that you would like to see me cover in the future. I've still got a few more Canadian releases that I'll be talking about in the next few videos, and don't worry, we are coming up to episode number 50 soon, and I do have something special planned. Thanks, everyone, for watching, and stay tuned for more.